Hello, my name is Kirana Metased from M.6 Major at Sati Prasani School. Today, we are presenting you the sixth chapter from the book Peak Performance, Success in College and Beyond. This chapter will help you learn how to create an effective reading system. First, let's learn about active reading. To become an effective reader, it is important to become actively involved with what you read. If you approach reading with lack of interest, you are less able to retain what you have read. Active reading includes both physically and mentally active activities such as previewing, taking notes, asking and answering questions, underlining main points, summarizing, and etc. When you read, you are expected to comprehend, interpret, and evaluate ideas and details. Comprehension is the ability to understand the main idea and details, while interpreting is the ability to develop ideas and summarize the material. There are a number of proven reading systems. Two helpful reading systems are the 5-part reading system and the SQ3R reading system. The 5-part reading system is similar to the adult learning cycle. First, prepare yourself by creating a positive attitude. Be rested and read during high energy time. Eliminate distractions and make reading physical. The next step is to preview. Pay attention to the title, chapter headings, illustrations, and key terms. Look for main ideas, connecting concepts, terms, and formulas. Short preview sessions are effective and make you more motivated. Then, predict questions. Make questions out of chapter headings, section titles, and definitions. Asking questions gets you more involved and focused. You will also make inferences and interpretation as you read. After that, process the information. Outline the keywords, main points, definitions, and facts. Look for supporting points and answer the questions you have raised. Lastly, paraphrase and review. Summarize in your own words and review it until you can explain it to someone else. This helps you integrate learning styles and remember the main points. The SQ3R reading system also includes 5 steps. First, survey the material. Quickly peruse the contents, scan the main heads, and look at illustrations. This helps you see how the chapter is organized and support the main concept. The next step is question. Find the main points and formulate questions. It helps you determine whether you really understand the material. The third step is read. Actively read and search for answers to your questions. As you read, you will be asking more questions. After that, recite. Recite the main ideas in your own words and paraphrase. Reciting helps promote concentration, creates understanding, and helps raise more questions. Lastly, review. Review the material carefully and then go back to each sections. The 5-part reading system and the SQ3R reading system also include strategies. You can try the following overall reading strategies. 1. Determine your purpose. Ask yourself why you are reading this, how you will use the information. 2. Set reading goals. Pace and plan your reading assignments. This does not only make sure you complete it on time, but also give yourself time to review it. 3. Concentrate. Being in the present is the key to concentration. Stay focused and alert by reading quickly and making it an active experience. 4. Create an outline. The outline can add meaning and structure to material, and it simplifies and organizes complex information. 5. Identify keywords and concepts. Draw illustrations and use graphics or symbols to indicate difficult material, connections, and questions. 6. Make connections. Try linking new information to what you already know. 7. Talk with author. Pretend you are talking with the author and jot down points with which you agree or disagree. This helps you connect new information to what you already know. 8. Compare notes. Compare your textbook notes with your lecture notes. 9. Take frequent breaks. Breaks about every 40 minutes. A person's brain retains information best in short study segments. 10. Integrate learning styles. Integrate learning styles by using all your senses. Visualize what something looks like, hearing yourself repeating words, draw, and read out loud. 11. Use the entire text. Make sure you read all the elements in your textbook. After you finish reading, don't forget to review. Here are some useful reviewing strategies. 4. Read and review often. The key is to stay on top of reading. Reviewing often and in short-term sessions kicks the material into long-term memory. Review weekly or before the test. 1. Summarize in writing. Writing is an active process that increases comprehension and recall. 2. Summarize out loud. Repeat until you can understand the material and explain it to someone else. 3. Review and reflect. You can increase comprehension by reviewing within 24 hours. Reflect by bringing your own experience and knowledge to what you have learned. 3. Review and reflect. You can increase comprehension by reviewing within 24 hours. Reflect by bringing your own experience and knowledge to what you have learned. 4. Read and review often. The key is to stay on top of reading. Reviewing often and in short-term sessions kicks the material into long-term memory. Review weekly or before the test.
After you have learned the reading and reviewing strategies, next step is to build your vocabulary. You will need a fundamental vocabulary to master any subject. To succeed in career, you must know and understand the meaning of the words you encounter. Try the following methods for building your vocabulary. First step is to observe your words and habits. You may be unaware that you fill your conversation with annoying words, such as you know, okay, like, and yeah, as well as inappropriate expletives. Next, be creative and articulate. Use precise, interesting, and expressive words. Next step, associate with articulate people. If you want to use a precise, interesting, and expressive word, make sure you surround yourself with people who have effective and extensive vocabularies. Next, look up words you don't know by using a dictionary. You can find their guide words, pronunciation, part of speech, etymology, syllabication, capital letters, definition, restrictive labels, homographed variants, and lastly, illustration, because drawing or picture are used to help illustrate a word. After you looked up new words in your dictionary, make sure to write them down. You can record them in your notebook or your notes cards because this will help you remember them quicker and better. Next, practice mentally. Say new words again and again in your mind as you read, and think of appropriate setting where you could use this word. And lastly is to practice in conversation. Use new words until you are comfortable using them. After I have told you tips how to build your vocabulary, next step is to manage language courses. Because building vocab is important if you are learning a new language, but also a number of reading and study tips are important too. Let's jump into the first step, which is do practice exercise. As with math and science, doing practice exercise is critical in learning any language. Next step is to keep up with your reading. You must build on previous lesson and skills by previous chapters so that you have a basic understanding of any new words. Then complete your practice session several times. Next, carry notes cards with you. Drill yourself on the part of speech, verb conjugation, and all through the tenses, which is the significant parts of learning a new language. By doing this, you will improve your skill much quicker because you can pick up your notes card and study them anywhere and anytime. Next step, recite out loud. This is especially important in a language course, as knowing a word's pronunciation is as important as knowing its meaning. You can record yourself and play it back anytime. Next step is to model and tutor. Meet with a student whose primary language is the one you are studying. Speak only his or her native language. Or you can meet international students in classes for English as a second language, usually taught in local schools and communities. And the last step and the easiest step is to have fun. Do research on the country of the language you are studying. Invite your study group of an authentic meal complete with music and costumes. And in this slide, I'm going to talk about specialized reading. Because some of your courses may include technical information. Science, math, computer science, accounting, and statistic courses tend to present their data in specialized format, and many readers get discouraged and skipped over it, which is a big mistake. Instead, try these reading strategies when you encounter graphics in your study or on the job. Step 1. You have to identify the type of graphic you are looking at first. Is it a table, a chart, graph, or other type of illustration? After that, you need to read each element. Start from the graphic title, which is going to be on the top, accompanying captions, column titles, label and symbol and their keys, which usually provided at the bottom of the graph, and lastly, the data. After you have read all the elements, next step is to identify the purpose of the graphic. Is it demonstrating similarity or differences, increases or decreases, comparison or changes? The fourth step, see a connection between the topic of the graphic and the chapter or section topic in which it appears. Next, you need to explain in your own words the information depicted on the graphic. And the final step is to share your interpretation of the graphic with your study group members to make sure that they understand and they feel your interpretation is clear and on target. And the last part of this study is to overcome obstacles. First of all, I'm going to talk about reading difficulties. Most reading difficulties are related to decoding, comprehension, and retention, with many experts believing the roots of the most reading problems is decoding. And what is decoding? Decoding is the process of breaking words into individual sound. Those decoding problems may have trouble sounding out words and recognizing words out of the context, can also confuse letters and the sounds they represent, and ignore punctuation while reading. And how do you know if your reading ability needs improvement? The following concerns also could signal reading difficulties. First, you're making poor grades despite significant effort. Second, you're needing constant step-by-step guidance for tasks. And lastly, having difficulty mastering tasks or transferring academic skills to other tasks. But the good news is that you can improve your reading abilities as we discuss in this chapter, and many resources are available such as your school learning center and the internet. Next, create a positive attitude. One of the greatest barriers to effective reading is the attitude. Many people are not willing to invest the time. If the material is too difficult, seem boring, or require concentration, they may not complete the reading assignment. To create a positive attitude about reading, first, you need to pinpoint and dispel illogical thought, such as, I have way too much reading, I can never finish it all, I'm just not good at math, or I'll never understand this material. Many students have trouble reading certain subjects and many lacked confidence. It still takes time and patience to learn to ski, drive a car, and as well as become a more effective reader. The next step is to use affirmation to develop confidence. With patience and practice, I will understand this material. Saying this to yourself will boost up your confidence. And last method is to use the ABC method of self-management to dispel negative thinking and create a can-do attitude.
Now, let's move on to our case study. Chris McDaniel struggles to keep up with her reading. She is overwhelmed by the amount of reading and the difficulty of her textbooks. She has never been much of a reader, spending most of her free time watching television. She sometimes reads in bed but often falls asleep. She realizes that this is not the most productive way to study, but it has become a habit. Chris has noticed that after reading for an hour or so, she can recall almost nothing. This has frustrated her, and she doubts her ability to succeed in college. What could Chris do to improve her reading skills? First, she should change her habits. Chris should watch less television so she would have more time to complete her assignment. She should also stop reading in bed because reading in bed is only for relaxation. There are two strategies Chris could implement. First, she should set her reading goals to make sure she completed and has time to review her assignment. Second, she should also summarize in writing. By doing this, she will be able to understand and recall the information better.
And that's all about our presentation. Thank you so much for watching and listen to our video.